Hey there, welcome to today's episode. And as you can see, we're diving in to make a beat on the MPC One Plus. Now this is going to be more about making a bit of music than it is a tutorial. However, I'll talk about what I'm doing as I'm going through it. So we can go here and name everything. We're going to call our first sequence a loop because that's what I'm going to build. I'm going to start with chops, I think. Let's go with that for now. We need to create some chops. Well, maybe we should make a sample. Maybe that would be more interesting. Let's do that. I'm going to make a fake sample. So I'm going to use a key group program. That's what I'm going to start with. And then we're going to need a sound, something to put in here. So let's call this key sample. We'll do for now. Just something so that I can identify it when I'm messing around. We're going to browse for some kind of sample sound. Maybe we want some like piano sounds. Got a nice classic piano there, that sounds pretty good. So we could load that onto our pad, and then if we go back to main, we get this chromatic mode. Now, as it stands, it sounds pretty terrible, so I'm going to reduce the volume down. It's going to be my first protocol. Then I'm going to go into program edit for this key group program, and I want to change the release here inside of envelope. So we're looking at envelopes and then amp here. And then with the release, we set this to, I don't know, say about 90. Puts a nice little fade out for us, and it allows us to play pretty short notes. We hold our finger there, we can get longer notes, so instantly we get something that sounds more realistic. I want to try and take advantage of this notes option underneath 16 levels here. So if we do shift and then select notes, we get our notes, chords, scales, all that good stuff. I'm thinking a progression of some kind, which it's obviously going to be playing chords for us, which is going to be nice. You can change your octaves using the bank buttons here. I'm going to take full level off because I want that velocity variation a little bit. What is Rhodes Ballad? Maybe we'll just go with that and we'll record a basic loop to get us started. We've got 60 BPM. I'm thinking maybe 4 bars. Yeah, let's go with 4 bars to stretch this out a little bit. Let's make a new layer. Let's just call this melody for now. We need to tidy all this up, but I've got a feeling I'm going to bake this down into one sample anyway. We'll add another key group program because I think we'll do exactly the same thing. We'll just find another instrument for over the top, and we'll call this melody sample. We'll do for now. So we can find another sample. We could always bring the same piano back in and then noodle with that. Yeah, why not? Let's just see if it works. I'm going to come higher up here. Good enough for this exercise. If we're going to slice it up and just play around with it, then I think that's fine. What I am going to do though is I'm going to pan this one over slightly to the right. Maybe just on this particular program, we will add a little delay just to see what happens there. So, okay, that could be a start point. We could put a bass in there and we could do all kinds of things, but actually maybe we just bake that down as a sample. On the master output here, we can resample with master effects applied. I want to try to make it sound a little bit more like a vinyl sample. So we're going to use Air Flavor Pro, which we've got here. Couple of issues for me. One, it's crazy with the low pass filter, it's like really muffled. So we're going to open that up a little bit. Not overly keen on the pops and the clicks too much on here. I think they always sound a little bit fake. And then I think with the vinyl here, I'm going to get rid of most of that like wavy vinyl effect. Again, I find that like a little bit overkill sometimes, and I could do that later when I got to the chops. I just wanted to really feel a bit like it's an old record that we found this little loop that we like. So then we can go over to the sampler. We can set the input here to be resampling because we're just going to resample this as an audio loop. So we can name it. Let's call it fake record So that's essentially what we've made. Now I'm going to go back to the main here. And the first thing I want to do though is I want to take Air Flavor Pro off. I don't need this melody track anymore, so I'm going to clear that. I don't need this chops, so I'm going to clear that as well. Just want to make sure we're going back to essentially like a blank project. All good to go, and we can kind of set up from there. So with track 1, what we're going to do is we're going to get the sample and we're going to chop that up. So we can call this chops. Now I'm going to find the sample. We can go to sample edit. We can look for fake record. It's pretty good transients here, so I might try threshold and see what happens. That's about right to me. It's got 1 for each of these kind of notes. I'm going to do shift, 0 snapping, and I'm going to be using the cue links for this, so I'm going to make sure it's shifted to the start point. This one's fine. This one, we can see here, wants to be over a little bit. We've got our slices. Shift and convert to a new drum program using pad parameters. So we could start by pitching them a little. I'm going to do that on a global level here and use this top cue link to do that. And I think that, you know, it's quite convincing as a sample. We could try doing the chops first and then work drums out. And I want to change the BPM, of course. We want to make it a little bit faster. I'm just going to record. We might have to do a few takes, but we'll record and just see if we get a little loop going. Not sure about this one here. Might use erase mode and delete that out. Just want to see now if we can make that loop any smoother. There's like a little bit of a double note. I'm wondering if we just move that over to here. So we've now created our first part of this sequence. I think what we'll do now is we'll add a new track. We'll call this drums. So we're going to create a new drum program. And we're going to call this drum samples. The thing I like about doing chops first is that I can listen to drum samples while the loops play. So while I'm searching, I can, you know, go to places where I've got drum samples. Say I wanted this solid hat here, we could load that one in. Kind of like that ghost snare, sounds quite good. Let's load that into here. And while we're in here, on our little ghost snare, which is quite a quiet sample, I'm going to put a little reverb. The kick drum I'm not overly keen on. I think I'm going to swap that out for something else. I'm going to try this one here. Let's see if we can just record a basic drum loop to go in our 2 bars, because I want to make sure timing correction is now off. I want it to have a real swing kind of feel. So I think that's quite good. The one thing I am thinking is maybe like a ride symbol. And so if we go to browse, we can actually look for anything that has ride in the title. If we do it like this, I think that might do one of those. Let's load it onto our spare pad here. Let's try and record that in. And I just want to tweak these so that they're fitting a little bit better with what we've got. So I'm just going to grab them. I'm going to make sure don't snap us on. And just shift them around a little bit so they kind of fit. Let's try that. I'm going to add a new layer here, and I'm thinking of bringing in maybe like just like a 1 subtle horn sample. Let's add what we think could be a horn sample. We're going to add a key group program this time. I'm going to find one and then spread it across the pads chromatically. So now I've got a bunch of horn sounds in here. I think classic jazz horn. We'll load that. We need much less volume on this. And we also need to go into the program edit and set the release so that it's longer. So we've got our sequences. Let's duplicate those. So I'm going to copy this sequence. We'll call that loop 2. Now we can do a couple of very quick, easy changes to this. So let's say on our first sequence here, I just want that to be the intro to the track. So I don't want it to have any drums in here. And I can use a track mute and I can just turn the drums off. Now when we come back here and we're looking, if I just do play, got this like intro. And if I just switch this over to the next one, you'll wait. So we can build the individual sequences. We can change what they are. Currently it's 2 bars. I think the intro would be better if we doubled the length. We now get 4 bars of this. And to be clearer when we start messing around with things, I can call this intro now. So this is the intro sequence. Then we go into loop 2, which actually we'll call verse 1. So this could be the verse where the drums kick in. And let's say I wanted that to be the same. I want that to be 4 bars. We can do that by doubling it up. So you can see how we could start to flesh that out into a track. What I want to do, where the verse comes in here, I want to add a couple of other things. So we're going to browse. We're going to call this effects. That's generally what I call any extra layers where I put just effect noises, vocals, whatever. I'm going to add a new drum program. So now we've got this to put effects, samples. As this verse part comes in, I want some other things to happen. So I want to hunt for some samples. We got crashes. Despite its crazy volume, I think actually that one might work. And I might just record that while I'm here. Let's go back to browse. Let's find some other samples that can come in here while we're there. That's quite nice. Maybe that we could make fit if we add it in here. I'm gonna find something else. I want a little vocal sample.
Yeah, I've been so free here, you know, that almost anything I want to try is, I'm welcome to do it.
Yeah, something like that. If we load that in here.
Yeah, I've been so free here, you know, that almost anything I want to try is, I'm welcome to do it.
I want to apply an air diff delay, but what I want to do here is I want to change the mix so that we have nothing. And then as it comes through, I want to add that in. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn automation on. And as we record that through, I'm going to play with that parameter.
Yeah, I've been so free here, you know, that almost anything I want to try is, I'm welcome to do it.
So we recorded that little bit of automation in there at the end, just needed to let it loop through. And yeah, we've got like an intro now. And this could have its own vocal intro or something. We'd have some other noises, weird things going on. And you'll notice as I switch, I'm going to switch the sequence.
Yeah, I've been so free here, you know, that almost anything I want to try is, I'm welcome to do it.
We could add another one in here. So let's say we wanted to copy this verse that we've got going. We can add another. So we could call this verse, let's call this verse 2. So we now have another variation and we can do certain things there. So I could bring this one all the way down to say 1 bar. So you could get like a little bit of like a breakdown thing happening. We could obviously switch up the chops, add more in. We could just draw a couple in and just see what happens. This one here, we could try it with, if you do transpose, you can just shift up. And again, in terms of like muting things out here. So let's say I don't want the crash symbols at this point. I could just mute those out. So we could have that, and then of course we could name that as breakdown, like this. So we've now got our 3 sections. There's an intro. As soon as we sweep over, we can go into like the first verse.
Yeah, I've been so free here.
And then let's say you wanted to go into your breakdown.
I'm welcome to do it.
So I think that will do us for today. All I'm going to do, just quickly, just for fun, is just put a little compression onto the master here. Now, we haven't really mixed it properly or anything, so we're not going to get the best results. We want to be in dynamics, and then we're going to look for the vintage compressor.
Yeah, I've been so free here, you know, almost anything I want to try is, I'm welcome to do it.
So just a little compression, a bunch of other stuff there. As I said, you need to spend time and mix it properly and do everything else. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. I'm going to leave it there. I'll play out just on the beat. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care, and I'll see you then.
So free here, you know, almost anything I want to try is, I'm welcome to do it. Yeah, I've been so free here, you know, almost anything I want to try is, I'm welcome to do it.